Hello all, this is Ultimate Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at Power Surge Optimus Prime in Minicon Aerobolt. This is from the Robots in Disguise line, and he's the leader size version of this guy. And so let's just take a quick look at the box. Of course, it says Power Surge Optimus Prime. Shows a picture of him powering up with Aerobolt on his chest. It also shows a picture of his vehicle mode. When you turn it to the side, you see another picture of just Optimus Prime and Minicon Aerobolt. And then if you turn it to the back, this guy is like pretty massive, so it's really difficult to even get a full picture of his box. But on the back of the box, you see, once again, Power Surge Optimus Prime. You see him holding his sword. You see that he transforms in 5 steps. And you see that Aerobolt transforms in 1 step. And that when he connects, that he makes sounds. And that he works with other Minicon weaponizers. And I mean, that's pretty much it for the box. So we're going to go ahead and get that out of the way. And let's take a look at Optimus Prime in his vehicle mode. And there he is. Well, one thing that I have to say probably right off the bat is I think that his vehicle mode is the weaker of his 2 modes. One, because it doesn't really hide the fact that he's a robot. I mean, you can see his arms and his legs right there. So, but he does roll. And he is massive. I mean, he's just a giant size. Just to compare him, here is Power Surge Optimus Prime, the Toys R Us exclusive version. And this is a warrior class size. You can see he's just completely, just way bigger than this guy. And so, and you can also see some of the differences. I mean, just the size alone. The front part of the cab is different. And, I mean, he's just way bigger. Although I have to admit that I think that the Warrior Class version looks a little bit more like a truck. I think they did a little bit better on the vehicle mode of the smaller version than they did on the larger mode here. But, you know, he's not terrible looking. He's just not the greatest look for a, you know, vehicle mode. I mean, like I said, you can clearly see the hands here on the back, the feet folded up. The wings here kind of cover up and hide a little bit of the robot mode, but not very successfully at all. But there you go in this robot mode. In his robot mode, he does have sounds. You can push this button here, and he says Power Surge and makes little weapon sounds. So he does come with that. He also comes with Minicon Aerobolt. And I'll sit him out here real quick. And he makes a lot of sounds often. So here's Minicon Aerobolt. Not too much to him. He's got wings that can move in a little bit just for the transformation. And his legs fold in as well for the transformation. But other than that, he doesn't really move around, have too much articulation. He's got a little peg hole to be held or to be plugged into Optimus Prime, and yeah, there he goes. He's got a little bit of sculpting up here in the front. Not too much paint, just the nose basically and the little insignia. But there you have Minicon Aerobolt. And to transform him, you just fold him up like this. Actually, fold his wings up first. And then fold up his feet. And his head comes in, and then he forms this little thing. Sort of a shield or something. And he can plug into Optimus Prime in vehicle mode. But the place that they have him on the instructions, which is right up there in the front, looks incredibly ridiculous. I mean, there would be just no reason to have him kind of hanging out there. You know, you can't really move too far to the back. Now, where I usually put him is here in the back. He does have a little spot here in the shoulder in which you can stick him back here. Still doesn't look like the greatest spot, but it fits in better than up there in the front. I'll say that much. So he can fit back there if you so desire. Or, you know, he can just fly, I guess. You know, he is a bird. He's got wings, he can fly, so I guess he wouldn't have to travel with Optimus Prime. But yeah, that will be the only real spot that you could put him in, is here on the shoulder. That looks even halfway decent. Now, he does come with this giant sword. The sword can detach and reconnect if you want. But I really haven't found any purpose for that, for why you would want to detach it or how it helps anything. Also, they don't tell you where you can store the sword, if there's any spot on here to store it. He does have a couple little pegs in here, but I've never seen that work very well. I've tried sticking it in there and it doesn't help. So I kind of came up with my own way of storing it, and probably the best way I found is to kind of take this little piece here, and there's a little spot in there where the arms attach, and you can kind of swing it under here. And if you put the little handles, he's got two little handles on the side, if you put them under his hands, it actually kind of secures it pretty well. And so you have his sword inside there. It kind of looks like some kind of cannon, laser cannon coming out of the truck. It, to me, actually makes his truck mode look a little cooler. Because, I mean, other than that, I mean, like I said, you just see all robot. At least with this, you get a little something to distract you from the arms and legs and everything that are hanging off. And so I think it actually makes him look a little bit cooler when you have him down here like this. I've even tried putting the handles into his hands so that his hands could secure it, but it doesn't work very well, as it kind of loosens the sides here where he connects, and it kind of makes him where he doesn't hold together as well in his vehicle mode. But I kind of like that look. And when you put Aerobolt on there too, let's just do that. Squeeze him in there. He, I think it just kind of distracts. It makes him look a little bit busy, but it also distracts from the fact that his arms and his legs and things aren't hitting very well. So let's take these parts, these little guys off, his weapon off. You can also open up the wings if you like to make him into sort of a flying truck. If you push this button down, let's see, it's not wanting to work for some reason. The wings do kind of open up, so you can kind of have a flying truck or some sort. But, you know, it's just if you like to do that, but I don't think it looks all that great. So now what I want to do is get him transformed into his robot mode, and so we can take a look at that. Now, in order to transform him into vehicle mode, one of the first things you're going to do is you might as well open the wings first, because you're going to need to get those out of the way, at least for a little bit. And so you can pull these apart. The arms can come apart here, and turn the waist here so that he's facing forward. You can go ahead at this time and flip out his feet and kind of stand him up. And let me adjust this camera real quick. He's so massive that it's going to be really hard to show. This part here, the cab, it pulls back. It's giving me a lot of trouble though, but it does pull it back. Wow. Wow. That was really crazy. I mean, his arm fell off and everything, just pulling it out. So that part was in there really tight, which is kind of, he makes a lot of noise, but it's kind of ironic that part's in there so tight, because this part actually comes loose. When you first get him, you have to attach this part on here. So you can take that off, and I'll show you later why you might want to do that. But to just continue on with the transformation, you're going to fold this arm up here, and then fold this part down, and that makes his arm. And then you're going to do the same on this side, fold this part up, and then there's another part here, the gray part comes down, And then the arm comes down too. And there he is in his robot mode. You can detach the legs, which also take a lot of force to detach. And let's pull the wings down for now. And there you have him in his robot mode. Now, by far, his robot mode is his best mode. I mean, he looks great. He's absolutely massive, and he looks really cool. Let's just go over his articulation real quick. His head can move from side to side. His shoulders can go up and down, and the arms come off and detach really easy. As I'll do a lot of parts on him, actually. Detach very easy. But his arms do go up and down. His shoulders can rotate full 360. And his elbows can bend. His hands also can rotate, which I think is pretty cool. He has waist articulation due to his transformation. And his legs can move forward and back. They're on pretty strong ratchets, which I think is good. So they can move in and out, forward and back. He also has knee bend. And even his feet can bend in a little bit for posability, which he is actually very, very posable for such a large figure. Now, he does have a gimmick. One, he has this button that you can push. There he goes. That makes a lot of sounds, and he lights up. He lights up on top too, and on the bottom. And he's got a little gimmick. He makes a lot of noise. So he does have a gimmick when you plug Aerobolt in. And when you plug him in, there are some little like blaster cannons, and his wings are supposed to pop out when you plug him in. It works sometimes it doesn't. But let's go ahead and try. So we're going to pop this in here. And there he goes. Well, one wing popped out. The other one just remained inside. But his wings pop out, and these little cannons also popped out here on the top. And so, yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty nice little gimmick. Like I said, he makes a lot of noise. And if you turn him to the back, you can see his wings. He does have a pretty large backpack here that you might not like, but like I said, this part comes off pretty easy, and so you can take that off if you really don't like all that backpack. And I actually think it looks a little bit better that way. But then you have this part just kind of hanging out here somewhere, so you may want to leave it on, take it off. I'm going to leave it on for now. It just snaps on here pretty easy. That button that was in his truck mode on the back, of course, you still have access to it, so you can still push buttons and cause him to make sounds. Even though he seems to make enough sounds on his own, you can do that. Now, also, I don't know if you noticed, but when I popped him in there, this face mask also popped up, which I think looks pretty cool. I'm going to try to show that off. So he does have this nice little face mask that popped up there. And if I push it down, let's see, push these down, it goes back to his regular mode. Well, if it would stay down. There it goes. And it goes back to his regular face, which is very cool likeness of how he looks in the person. So what I want to do now is do a quick just size comparison with this guy. And here he is next to the Warrior class Power Surge Optimus Prime. And as you can see, he's huge. I mean, look at that. You can barely get both of these guys on the camera because he just towers above him. So, I mean, this guy is massive. I mean, clearly. I mean, he's just one massive figure. So, he does come with his weapon. with that sword, and so we took a look at it. One thing on the sword is I noticed that it has a little hook, sort of like indention in here, in which his hands have that too. So it almost fits in like a lock or a key, and so you can put it right into his hand. It fits in there and kind of locks it in, which is very unusual. You don't usually see that with Transformers, but just something that they did. And you know, makes it pretty cool. Now, like I said, this guy's pretty posable. You know, because of the ankle tilt in his legs. And so, I mean, you can kind of sit him back and lean him back with his sword. Put him in different little poses if you want to. And he holds together really well. I mean, he's very posable for such a large figure. So I like that a lot. One thing, too, with his weapon, it does, like, as I mentioned before, it comes apart. And this part actually has that same kind of hook thing, too. So you could actually put this in his other hand. It only goes in that way because it doesn't go in that far. So not sure what that would be. But you can hold both parts of that. Not sure why you would want to, but it is something that's available. And let's take this out. There we go. And if you put the weapon back together, which it fits in, oh, here we go. Fits in like here, this. You can also hold the weapon in other places. It can also be here on his arm if you want to make it kind of like some type of blade that he just kind of has hanging out there on his arm if you want. And Aerobolt as well. If you take him, he can actually peg into the arms as well and form maybe some sort of shield or something. I'm not sure what he would be, but he can fit there on his arm if you want a different place to store him than on his chest, which I actually don't like storing him on his chest. It looks kind of weird to me to have him up there on the chest like that, but you can store him there on the arm. You can store the sword on the arm. And if you don't like the sword on the arm like that, he has a spot right here, a peg hole right here that you can plug his sword into. And you can actually store the sword on his back. Let's try it this way. And to me, it actually works better if the wings are down. So I'm going to put his wings down first. Assuming that they lock in place. They don't always want to lock in place. So let's pull this off. Put these wings down. Put all this down. Wings down. There we go. And then this part can store in here in the back. And there you have his sword hanging out there in the back. So just to give him a different little look, if you like. And like I said, you could even pull this. To me, it makes this part even a little bit more pronounced since it's up there at the top. But like I said, you can also pull that off. And so, yeah, that's it pretty much for him in his robot mode. Like I said, his robot mode to me is definitely, it's just great. I love the size of it. I love the fact that it's posable, even with the larger figures, which you don't always get with the robots in disguise figures. So he's very posable. And, you know, he's got different places for his sword and things to go. And so I think his robot mode is very cool. So I'm going to go ahead and transform him back into his vehicle mode. So let's go ahead and take off his sword. The headpiece just kind of flipped on by itself, but that is part of the transformation. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to twist his waist, twist him at the waist right there. And you're going to want to fold his feet up. Put those in there. And then you're going to want to push the legs together. They have two little indentations right there. You just push those together, lock them in. And you kind of have to push a lot of force to get them in as tight as they need to be to make the transformation work. Okay, and then you want to pull this part of the arm up and then this part of the arm down so that you just elongate that there. And he's got a tab here on this arm that fits into a tab right there on his leg. It's a little hard to see, but there is a tab right in there. And so you can push that in. You've got the one arm done, and then you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to pull this part of the arm out, and then pull this part out, and collapse these two. Collapse this down. And of course the arm came off, which happens all the time when I'm transforming this guy. Like I said, there's a tab in there, and it's going to, this arm is going to tab into that, and then you're going to want to kind of push these arms together. So there's a little tab right in between there. You push those two together, and that gets them a little more secure. And there you have him back in his vehicle mode. And like I said, he's a nice figure. Like I said, I usually like to put his sword in here. Sort of like this. It's actually not. I actually usually keep the arms like this so that it fits in there a little bit better. But yeah, you can usually put a sword in there, and if you lock it under, it kind of secures it and gives him a different look that I actually like better than his original look. But there you have it, and that is a review for Power Surge Optimus Prime. Of course, if you like this review, please like, subscribe, make some comments, and I'll definitely be doing some more reviews. So just have a great day, and I'll catch you later.